Many women quietly explore self-pleasure, especially in midlife and beyond. It's private, it's personal, and it's far more common than most admit. But what almost nobody talks about is this: the minutes afterward can matter even more than the act itself, because in that sensitive window, your body is left open in ways you may not see, and the wrong choices can leave behind irritation, infections, or even restless nights. For women over 50, the risks are even sharper. Lower estrogen, thinner tissues, and a slower recovery mean that what felt harmless years ago may now quietly work against your comfort. That's why today I'm revealing the 5 things you should never do after an intimate moment. Each mistake may seem small in the moment, but together they can shape whether intimacy restores your body or quietly wears it down. And make sure you stay until the very end, because mistake number 5 is the most hidden of all. It isn't physical, it's emotional. And for many women, it has silently stolen their comfort for decades. Welcome back to the Female Health Podcast, where we shine a light on the truths women deserve to hear. I'm Dr. Lia Parker, gynecologist and intimate health psychologist, with over 30 years of experience guiding women through midlife and beyond. Today we'll uncover all 5 mistakes, why they matter, and how to avoid them so you can feel safe, comfortable, and confident in your own body again. So let's begin, because the very first mistake is one that most women dismiss, yet it may be setting the stage for infections without you even knowing it. Imagine this. You've just had your private moment, your body has softened, your breathing has slowed, and the only thing you want is to stay still and enjoy that calm. Maybe you're tempted to roll over, maybe to close your eyes, maybe to drift away and forget about everything else. It feels so natural, almost like your body is demanding rest. But what most women never realize is that this is the exact moment where the real danger begins. Because in those quiet minutes, your body is not simply resting, it is wide open, delicate, and far more vulnerable than you may think. Here's what's happening under the surface. After release, blood surges to the most sensitive tissues, skin temperature rises, and the natural balance inside shifts. It feels peaceful, but what your body has actually done is lower its guard. The pH has changed, the warmth lingers, and the tissues are left thinner and more exposed than usual. This is the perfect opening for irritation, bacteria, and even infection. And yet this is the very moment when most women do nothing at all. They think, I'll deal with it later. Or, it's just a private moment, not something I need to fuss over. That one choice, repeated again and again, becomes the reason so many women over 50 are quietly struggling with infections they can't explain. I can't tell you how often I hear women say, "Doctor, I don't understand why I keep getting these little irritations. I don't do anything wrong." And every time, I have to gently explain that what feels like doing nothing wrong is often the biggest mistake of all. Neglecting cleanup is not a small oversight. It is the #1 trap that steals comfort days later, when the moment itself has already been forgotten. And the reason it matters more now than ever is because the body has changed. With lower estrogen, the protective barrier inside the vagina becomes thinner, the tissues more fragile, and the defenses weaker. What you once brushed off easily in your 30s may now turn into burning, itching, or that familiar discomfort that seems to appear from nowhere. But here's the irony. Many women, once they realize this, go too far in the opposite direction. They scrub, they use harsh soaps, they pour chemicals onto tissues that are already thinner and more delicate, and then they wonder why they feel even more irritated than before. The truth is, the solution is simple, but it requires gentleness. A splash of warm water, a mild fragrance-free cleanser if you feel you need one, and a moment of mindful care. That is all your body is asking for. Nothing extreme, nothing harsh, just the acknowledgement that the moment deserves to be closed with protection. And don't forget, it isn't just your body. Anything that touched your skin during those private minutes needs the same attention. Your hands, your toys, even the surfaces you lean against. Too many women assume a quick rinse is enough, and it isn't. Bacteria loves to linger on the things you don't properly clean, and when those things touch your body again, the cycle simply repeats. This is not about shame. It is not about erasing what you just did. It is about honoring your body, protecting it, and sealing the ritual with an act of kindness. When I explain this to women, I often see relief in their eyes, because suddenly what felt like a mysterious pattern of irritation now has an answer, And the answer is not complicated. It's simply this: never skip cleanup. Think of it the way you think about brushing your teeth after a meal. It's not a chore, it's a closing ritual, a way of saying to your body, "Thank you, I will take care of you now." But here's the part almost no one expects. Even if you clean properly, even if you take those gentle steps, there is something else women do immediately afterward that can quietly erase all that protection. And it has nothing to do with water or soap. It has everything to do with what you decide to wear. Now let's imagine the next step. You've taken care of cleanup, you've done the right thing, and you feel confident that your body is safe. Most women at this point reach for what's most convenient, slipping back into underwear, pulling on pajamas, or even stepping straight into jeans or leggings if the day isn't over yet. It feels practical. It feels normal. It feels like the logical next step. And yet, this is where the second trap waits, because the fabric you put against your body right now has more power than most women ever realize. Here's why this moment matters. After those private minutes, your body is still warm, circulation is heightened, tissues are swollen and more sensitive, and a thin layer of moisture often lingers. You might not notice it, but your skin does. Sliding into tight clothes at that exact moment traps heat and dampness against the most delicate parts of your body. And when heat and moisture are trapped together, they create the perfect breeding ground for bacteria and yeast. The result is irritation that may not show up immediately, but within hours or days, it can bloom into itching, burning, or even infection. This risk becomes far greater after 50. Why? Because declining estrogen has already thinned the vaginal tissue and reduced its natural ability to fight off invaders. In younger years, your body might have been able to shrug off the irritation caused by a snug pair of leggings. But now, what once seemed harmless can quietly set the stage for weeks of discomfort. That is why so many women suddenly notice problems they never had before, without realizing their clothing choices are to blame. I remember one woman in her early 60s who came to me over and over with recurrent yeast infections. She had tried everything: creams, medications, dietary changes, and nothing seemed to work. When I asked her to describe her habits, she laughed and said, "Doctor, I always put my yoga pants back on right away, it's just what I do." To her, it seemed silly to think clothing could matter. But when she started giving her body just 30 minutes of breathing space afterward, the infection stopped. That small shift changed everything for her, not only her comfort, but her relationship with her own body. So what should you do instead? It's surprisingly simple. Give your body permission to breathe. Choose a loose cotton nightgown, a soft robe, or even nothing at all under the covers. Allow the tissues to cool naturally, let the skin dry without being smothered, and give your body the space it needs to recover. Think of it as a gift, a small act of freedom that not only protects your health, but extends the afterglow of intimacy itself. And here's something most women never think about. When you rush to cover up, it sends a message to yourself that the moment is something to hide, something to end quickly. But when you choose soft, flowing clothes or no clothes at all, you send a different message, that your body is worthy of care, of softness, of breathing room. That shift alone can transform how you feel about intimacy. Suddenly it is not just a release, but a ritual of self-respect. So never rush back into tight clothing. Let your body breathe, let your skin rest, and let your tissues recover in peace. Because what feels like a small detail is actually one of the biggest differences between irritation and lasting comfort. And yet, even if you clean properly and let your body breathe, there is still something else women overlook. It doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. And when you miss this step, the result is dryness, fatigue, and a body that feels drained instead of renewed. Even if you clean properly, and even if you let your body breathe in soft, loose clothing, there is something far too many women overlook. And it doesn't involve what you put on the outside at all. It comes from within. In fact, this single oversight is one of the most common reasons so many women over 50 tell me they feel drained, dry, or even achy after their private moments. It's simple, it's ordinary, and that's exactly why it slips past unnoticed. The mistake is forgetting to replenish. Think of it this way. During those minutes of release, your body goes through more changes than most women realize. Heart rate rises, blood vessels expand, muscles contract in waves, skin warms, and often a fine layer of sweat or moisture lingers. Even if it doesn't feel like exercise, your body has worked. It has shifted fluids, it has released tension, and it has left your tissues more exposed and more thirsty than before. For a younger woman, this might not matter much. But after 50, when estrogen is lower and the tissues naturally hold less moisture, that small loss makes a very big difference. What seems like nothing more than skipping a sip of water can become the reason you wake up dry, irritated, or even more prone to infections. I remember speaking with a woman in her late 50s who told me she felt as though her body was turning against her. She said, "Doctor, I do everything right, but I just can't shake this dryness. It feels like no matter what I try, I'm always uncomfortable." When we traced her habits, we noticed a simple but powerful pattern. She often ended her evenings with a private moment, then drifted straight into sleep without ever reaching for water. Her body was left unreplenished night after night. Once she began keeping a glass by her bedside and making hydration part of her aftercare, she was astonished at the difference. Not only did her dryness improve, but she also noticed better sleep and more energy the next day. The truth is, replenishment is not just about water. Although water is the first and most important step, hydration can come in many forms: a calming cup of herbal tea, a small glass of lukewarm water, or even the soothing comfort of a caffeine-free nighttime drink. Alongside that, tissues can benefit from direct nourishment. A gentle, fragrance-free moisturizer designed for intimate use can restore balance and keep tissues supple when applied once or twice a week. Think of it as feeding your body from both the inside and the outside. When hydration and aftercare become part of the ritual, you create not only relief in the moment, but resilience for the future. But the real gift of replenishment is not just physical, it is emotional. Taking the time to pause, to sip slowly, to care for your tissues is a way of telling yourself, "This moment matters, my body matters. I am not rushing through this as though it were a task. I am treating it as care." That emotional shift is often what transforms private moments from something fleeting into something restorative. So never neglect the refill. Do not assume your body can bounce back on its own. Give it the hydration it needs, from the glass at your bedside to the gentle care of a moisturizer. When you make replenishment part of the ritual, you turn a brief release into lasting wellness. And yet, even if you hydrate, even if you nourish, there is another mistake waiting in the shadows. This one has nothing to do with fluids, food, or clothing. It comes from the mind, and if you carry it with you into the night, it can steal the very rest and healing your body deserves. Many women believe that after a private moment, the body automatically drifts into calm. It seems obvious: the muscles have released, the heartbeat slows, and the warmth of afterglow settles in. Surely that means rest will follow. But here's the trap almost no one expects. The body may have let go, but the mind has not. And when the mind carries stress, the release you just gave yourself is cut short before it can do its work. I can't tell you how many women in their 50s and 60s have told me, "Doctor, I thought this would help me sleep, but instead I toss and turn." They expect the experience to close the chapter of the day. Instead, it opens the floodgates for all the thoughts they tried to push aside, worries about family, finances, health, or the weight of memories that suddenly resurface. The body is quiet, but the mind is restless, and that restlessness steals the very gift intimacy was meant to give. This becomes even more important after menopause. Sleep itself is already fragile. Hormone changes bring hot flashes, light sleep, sudden waking, or hours spent staring at the ceiling. Add a mind that refuses to let go, and what could have been a night of renewal becomes another night of frustration. You wake not refreshed but drained, as though your body worked all night instead of resting. The shift is not complicated, but it does require intention. Instead of collapsing straight into bed and closing your eyes, give yourself 2 or 3 minutes to truly settle. Place a hand over your chest, breathe slowly, and let your thoughts move gently away. Whisper gratitude for the comfort you've allowed yourself, and let that calm take root before sleep. It doesn't sound like much, but it can be the difference between a restless night and one that truly restores you. So never fall asleep in a stressful state. Don't assume that release alone will quiet your mind. The nervous system needs permission to close the cycle, and when you give it that, your body rewards you with deeper rest. But there is still one more mistake, and it may be the most powerful of all. Because while stress can fade by morning, this one lingers. It doesn't just follow you into the next day, it can shadow you for years. We've talked about the body, we've talked about the skin, the tissues, even the mind. But there is one mistake that reaches deeper than all the others, and it has nothing to do with water, clothing, or even rest. It is not physical at all. It is emotional. And for many women, it is the heaviest weight they carry, not for minutes or hours, but for decades. I'm speaking about guilt and shame. Too many women, especially those who grew up in times when female desire was silenced or judged, still whisper to themselves afterward, "I shouldn't have done that. That was selfish. That was wrong." Some even pray for forgiveness, as though touching their own body were a sin. And here is what few realize: those thoughts do not simply disappear. They take root. They shape how your nervous system works, how your hormones flow, and how your body feels. When guilt rises, it fuels cortisol, the stress hormone that makes sleep shallow, drains your energy, and weakens your immune defenses. Cortisol is not just an emotion, it is chemistry, and it works against you at every level. It worsens dryness, it steals rest, it clouds your mood. In other words, shame is not only a feeling, it is a direct attack on your body's ability to heal. I remember one woman in her 60s who told me she had avoided intimacy for years, even with herself, because afterwards she was filled with regret. Her body longed for release, but her mind punished her for it. She felt broken, unworthy, and alone. But as we worked together to slowly reframe the act, not as something dirty, but as self-care, her entire life began to change. She started sleeping better, her energy returned, and most importantly, she no longer looked at her body with resentment. She began to see it as something to honor. This is why I say, never carry guilt or shame into tomorrow, because when you do, you rob yourself not only of comfort, but of confidence, of joy, of peace. Pleasure is not wrong. It is not selfish. It is one of the last natural gifts your body can still offer you, even after menopause. And when you accept it as care, not as crime, you finally allow your body to give you everything it still can. So release the burden. Let go of the shame that was never yours to begin with. Step into tomorrow free, lighter and stronger. Because the truth is, your body is not betraying you. It is still capable of giving you healing, but only if you allow yourself to receive it without guilt. And now, as we bring all 5 lessons together, you'll see how each one connects into a larger truth, that what happens after private moments is not about rules or chores, but about honoring your body with rituals that protect, restore, and empower you. We've uncovered 5 mistakes that so many women make without realizing the cost. Skipping cleanup, rushing back into tight clothes, forgetting to hydrate, falling asleep with a restless mind, and carrying guilt into tomorrow. Each one may seem small in the moment, but together they shape how your body feels for days to come. Instead, treat these minutes as a ritual of care. Clean gently, wear soft, breathable clothing, sip water, let your thoughts settle, and above all, release shame that never belonged to you in the first place. And if dryness lingers, don't ignore it. A gentle, fragrance-free vaginal moisturizer can help restore comfort and protect delicate tissues. I'll link my preferred option in the description below. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 surprised you the most? Share in the comments, because your story may be exactly what another woman needs to hear. And if this message spoke to you, press like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Together we're breaking the silence around women's health after 50. Because this isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of caring for your body in a way that keeps it strong, comfortable, and free.